So first we will discuss this problem. Here the one problem is given and I have already discussed regarding this problem. And again I am considering this. Here the translation Tx is equal to 10. Translation is given. Ty is equal to 20. Rotate 45 degree. So first transformation is translation. First we will apply the translation transformation. Here Tx is equal to given to us 10 and Ty is equal to 20. Then we will apply rotation by 45 degree, and after that we will apply scaling. Okay, and here the scaling factor is given to you 2. So this is the value of Sx and Sy. Sx is equal to 2 and Sy is equal to 2. The vertices of the triangle are 10, 20, 60, 20, 80, 120. So apply the above transformation using the matrix method. So here you will solve this problem using the matrix, okay, not the equations. So first you will apply the translation matrix. So values are already provided to you. So what is the translation matrix? You are already aware, I think so, because this is 2D problem, because nothing is mentioned here. Okay, so this is 2D because we have the we can say Tx, Ty, similarly Sx and Sy. So the factors are already given here and that are based on the X and Y. Okay, so this is final. This is 2D case. Okay, so in this case, first we will use the translation matrix. What is this? X dash, Y dash, Z dash, okay, equal again in the form of the matrix X, Y, 1. So first we will consider X dash, Y dash and 1 equal X, Y, 1. Okay, so final coordinates we are considering as X dash, Y dash, 1 in the matrix form. We will write like that, and after that equal sign, then X, Y, 1 for identity we are using, and then close the bracket, square bracket, and followed by the translation matrix. What is the translation matrix? 1 0 Tx, 0 1 Ty, okay, and then 0 0 1. We will use the 3 by 3 matrix. So matrix for the translation is 1 0 Tx, 0 1 Ty, and then last column is 0 0 1. Okay, then we will replace the value of Tx and Ty there. Okay, and we will calculate for vertex A, then for vertex B, then for vertex C. And in this way, we can calculate the value of the new coordinate, that is X dash and Y dash. Okay, so we can easily at the end compare and we can calculate the new coordinates for the 3 vertex. Okay, and after getting those coordinates, we will apply rotation, and rotation is 45 degree, and we are already aware by the rotation matrix. Okay, so we will apply that matrix and we will replace theta by 45 degree, and after that again we will get some coordinates, new vertices after rotation. Then those new coordinates will act as the old coordinates for the third transformation, that is for the scaling, and at the end we will apply the scaling matrix. So we can solve easily, it is not so much tough question. Okay, so this is the problem we have already discussed in the preceding lecture, and here now we will concentrate over the 3D transformation and their matrix representation. So up till now, we have already studied about the 2D. So what we have studied? Several transformation techniques. That is the, what is the 2D transformation, what is the 2D transformation, and after that classification of the transformation, translation, and then rotation, and then scaling. Okay, after that we discussed about the concatenation. What is the concatenation? Okay, so concatenation, it is nothing but the combination of two or more than two transformations. So in this case, just we will take care of the sequence of the transformation. Whenever we are going to combine two or more than two transformations, then we will always take care of sequence of transformation. Otherwise, we will not get the proper output. So first we emphasize, first we concentrate over the sequence of transformation whenever we are going to apply the concatenation transformation. Okay, so first take care of this. So what is the concatenation? Concatenation is nothing but the combination of two or more than two transformations. Okay, and another thing, new thing you have already studied, arbitrary points. Whenever we are going to rotate any object, we always consider origin. Okay, we always rotate our image about the origin. Okay, and whenever we will say about the arbitrary point, suppose we have any object over and above the origin. Okay, it is far away from the origin. It is, of course, in the 2D plane, but we are going to rotate any object far above from the origin. Okay, that is called the, we are going to rotate the image or object about the arbitrary points. Okay, whenever we will not take the name of the origin, it means we are going to rotate our object about the arbitrary points. So what are the arbitrary points and how we can rotate our object about the arbitrary point? Then we will consider three steps, means three transformations. Okay, so first we will change those new points to the origin. So first we will move those points towards the origin. Okay, so we are going to move, or we can say we will apply the translation transformation. So first we will translate those points to the origin. Okay, so first we will apply the translation, and after moving those points to the origin, we can rotate our object about the origin. Okay, and after rotation, after applying the rotation, again we have to move our points at the same place. Okay, so again we will, after rotation, again we will apply the translation transformation. So this is called the rotation about the arbitrary points. Okay, so we will use the three steps. So for rotating the object about the arbitrary points, we will apply the concatenation process. Okay, so this is all about the 2D case. Okay, I think you have already understood all these things. What is the 2D transformation? What are the types of transformation? What is the arbitrary points? Okay, what is the concatenation transformation? And you have also solved few numericals over that. Okay, if you have any problem, then you can ask also to me regarding the problem if you have any doubt over that. Now this is the 3D transformation, and again we will do the matrix representation. So what is the difference between the 2D and 3D transformation? in 2D transformation, just we are going to apply several changes to enhance the visibility of the object. Okay, what is the transformation? We are going to apply several changes to our object to enhance the visibility. Okay, so that we can enhance the visibility. So in case of the 3D transformation, we can see the object more clearly, or we will apply several geometric transformation. Okay, so whenever we will apply several geometric transformation, then it will be more visible. We can see from all angles. Okay, so in case of the 3D transformation, we will use the three axes, x, y, z, three planes. Okay, then how we will handle in the object in case of the 3D transformation. So what is the geometric transformation? So geometric transformation plays an important role in generating images of the 3D scenes. Okay, they are used in modeling. So mostly the 3D transformation we use the modeling. Okay, so we apply in case of the modeling. So they are used in modeling to express location of the object relative to other in generating a view of the scene. So they are used to achieve the effect of different viewing position. Okay, we have already told you that we are going to enhance the visibility. So we use the 3D transformation. So transformations are extension of the 2D techniques. Just these are nothing but the extension of the 2D. In case of just we are extending only one axis, that is called the Z axis. Two important aspects of the earlier formulation are retained. So we will use the same technology, same methodology, same aspects. Okay, a transformation is expressed as a single entity. So why is it called a single entity? Because you are using all types of transformation and just you are going to generate a final stage, that is called the final transformation. Okay, because you are applying translation, you are applying rotation, you are applying scaling, and ultimately you are going to concatenate all of these transformation and you will get a single entity. Okay, so this is called the transformation can be expressed as a single entity, because after applying the concatenation process, you will finally get a single transformation. So the transformation matrix, complex transformation expressed as a sequence of primitive transformation. Okay, what is the primitive transformation? It is again a single entity. You are applying a single translation transformation, single rotation transformation, single scaling transformation, and ultimately you will concatenate all of those and you will yield a single transformation. You are going to create a single transformation. Okay, so these are called the sequence of primitives. Now just we are considering, as we have already considered in case of the xy plane, in case of the 2D, the transformation which translates a point xyz to a new point x dash y dash z dash. Okay, in this case again we are considering as the new points here, we are indicating by the x dash y dash z dash. Okay, old point here x y z, that is called the initial points. So initial points, these are called the initial point x for y z, and these are the new point x dash y dash z dash. Okay, now we are going to apply the translation transformation in the form of the matrix. Okay, so x double dash y double dash 1, these are the new point x dash y dash 1. This is followed by translation transformation. Okay, because this is the 3D case, so we will use 4 by 4 matrix, or just there is a need arise to remember this matrix. Okay, you have to remember this, you have to learn this. Okay, So you can write 1 0 0 tx, 0 1 0 ty, 0 0 1 tz, 0 0 0 1. Okay, to maintain the identity of this matrix. Okay, here we are considering 1, here we are considering 1, and so on. So whenever you will do the multiplication of these all, okay, when you will solve this matrix, so you will get the same equations in the form of the 3D. Okay, now you can calculate the values of this. Now where tx, ty, tz are the components of the translation in x, y and z direction. Okay, so we can write here another thing. Now just we are considering in 3D, it is helpful to drive the transformation for rotation about each of the three coordinate axes. Three coordinate axes. Now we will consider here x axis, y axis, z axis. In the 2D case, we can rotate our object only about the origin. Now in this case, we can rotate our object about the x-axis, about the y-axis, about the z-axis. Okay, now there are several options to rotate our object. So first we will check whether we want to rotate our object along the x-axis or along the y-axis or along the z-axis. Okay, so first we can check in the problem that the rotation about which axis is given. Now this is the matrix formulation of the rotation about z-axis. Okay, we are going to rotate about the z-axis through an angle theta is achieved with the following transformation. So whenever we are going to rotate our object about the z-axis, then we will use the 3D matrix formulation as it is given: x dash, y dash, z dash 1 is equal to x y z1 cos theta minus sin theta 0 0 sin theta cos theta 0 0, and we can write like this. Okay, so this is called the matrix formulation for the rotation along the plus z axis. Okay, so the rotation angle theta is measured clockwise. So here we are again measuring the angle clockwise above the origin when looking at the origin from a point on the plus z axis. So we will use for the z axis. Okay, we are going to rotate our object about the z axis, then we will use this matrix formulation. Okay, so take care of this. Now we can write, if we are going to rotate about the y axis, then we will use this matrix formulation: x dash y dash z dash 1 is equal to x y z1 cos theta 0 minus sin theta 0 0 1 0 cos theta. Okay, so we will use this matrix formulation if we are going to rotate about y axis, and if we are going to rotate about z axis x axis, then we will use x dash y dash z dash 1 is equal to x y z1 1 0 0 0 0 cos theta sin theta 0 0 minus sin theta cos theta 0, and last column is 0 0 0 1. So this is called the matrix formulation for the rotation of the object about x coordinate axis. So these are the three matrix formulation we will use for the rotation purpose, and just we will use the same equation about which we are going to rotate our object. Okay, so whether we are rotating our object about the x-axis or about the y-axis or about the z-axis. So first you take care of this and try to remember all these three matrix formulation. Okay, a scaling transformation. Now another transformation that is called the scaling. You have idea about this. So a scaling transformation can be used to scale dimensions in each coordinate direction separately. x dash y dash z dash 1 x y z 1. So in this case we will use sx 0 0 0 first column, 0 sy 0 0 0 0 sz 0 0 0 0 1. Okay, so in the same manner as we have already used in case of the 2D, where we used Sx and Sy only. Here we will consider 4 by 4 matrix and we will use Sx, Sy, Sz. Okay, so this is called the scaling 3 by 3 matrix formulation for the scaling transformation. Okay, so a scaling transformation can be used to scale dimensions in each coordinate direction separately. So you can also remember this. Now, what is the inverse transformation? Inverse transformation is just the reverse, or we can say the opposite of the whatever it has already given in the original form. Okay, so whenever we are going to calculate the inverse transformation, then just change the sign. Okay, suppose we are using the translation transformation, then we use, just I am considering the 2D case. In 2D case, you use as one formula for the matrix. We use 10 tx, 01 ty, and 001. So in that case, we will replace tx and ty by minus tx and minus ty. So here we will inverse the sign only. Okay, in case of the inverse transformation, just change only the sign and then you can calculate the inverse transformation. Similarly, in case of the rotation transformation, just change the sign. In case of the scaling transformation, just replace sx by minus sx, sy by minus sy, sz by minus sz, so that you can achieve the inverse transformation of that. Okay, so there is one here typing mistake. Just I am going again toward that typing mistake. Okay, here there is a need to write the x, y, z. In this case, you can see that I forget to write here z. Okay, just I am telling you, because this is the 3D case, not the 2D case. I mentioned here 100tx, 010ty, 001tz, 0001. Okay, this is okay. This matrix is okay. Okay, just I forgot to write here z double inverted. So you can write here x double dash, y double dash, z double dash 1. Okay, we are considering x y z plane. This is the 3D case. Just this is the typing mistake and I forget to type here z double dash 1 and again x dash y dash z dash 1. Okay, beside this everything is okay, no problem at all. Just put, you can change this x dash y dash z double dash, x double dash y double dash z double dash 1 and equal x dash y dash z dash 1 and then same matrix will come. Okay, so this is the typing mistake. Even though everywhere I mentioned x comma y comma z and new point x dash y dash z dash, so here it will come z double dash and here z single dash. Okay, because this is the 3D case. So this is just the typing mistake I forgot to write. So just you can correct this and take care of this. Okay, in lecture, just I am because I am doing recording of this lecture. So I am saying again and again, you can put here z double dash and here z dash 1. Okay, so this is the typing mistake. Just do correct, please. And everything is okay everywhere. Now up to here, I told you about the inverse transformation too. So just there is a need arise only to change the sign. Okay, nothing else. Whenever you are going to write the inverse transformation of any matrix, okay, whether it is a translation matrix or the rotation matrix or the scaling matrix, just change tx, ty by the negative of sign. If it is in negative is given, then just change the sign only. Okay, no need to do more. Just change the sign and theta by minus theta. Okay, in case of the rotation, just you can change theta by minus theta, you can replace the value. So whatever you will get the answer, that is called the inverse transformation. So in case of the inverse transformation, you can write all types of transformation, that is the translation, rotation as well as the scaling. Just change the sign only. Okay, so in case of the matrix formulation, just change sx, sy, sz by minus sx, minus sy, minus sz. When when you are going to write the inverse transformation of that. Similarly, you can change tx by minus tx, ty is equal to minus ty, and tz is equal to minus tz. Okay, if you are going to write the inverse transformation of that. Okay, if in the problem, if it is asked that write calculate the inverse transformation, then just write the formula and change the sign for the inverse transformation. So take care of this and remember all these formulas. Okay, and in case of the inverse transformation, just change the sign only. So here just I am showing, indicating x dash, y dash, z dash 1, x, y, z 1, 1 0 0 minus tx, 0 1 0 minus ty, 0 0 1 minus tz, 0 0 0 1. Okay, so this is called the inverse transformation for the translation. So this is the 3D case. I am considering x dash, y dash, z dash 1 equal to x, y, z 1 initial points, final points. Okay, just you are going to replace the sign here, minus tx, minus ty, minus tz. So this is called the inverse transformation for the translation. Okay. Again, as I told you, change only the sign of this. Here I am writing the matrix formulation for the rotation. Cos, just I am replacing by theta by minus theta. So just replace theta by minus theta. Don't change this sign, but replace theta by minus theta. Okay, everywhere, so that you can call this matrix, uh, this rotation as the inverse rotation. Okay, so x dash, y dash, z dash 1, x, y, z 1, and followed by this matrix. And in this matrix, I am doing nothing, just replacing theta by minus theta. Okay, so this is called the inverse rotation. Okay, inverse transformation for the rotation. So, which is a rotation of the same magnitude and about the same axis but in opposite direction. So, if this is inverse transformation, then direction will be changed. Okay. So, just I am replacing theta by minus theta. Now, we shall denote the inverse of the transformation t by t inverse. Okay. So, this minus 1 is the power sign, t minus 1. Okay. It will come here. So T by T inverse. So this is the symbol for the inverse transformation. Okay, simple transformation, just we are indicating using the T, and for the inverse transformation T पे power minus 1. Okay, we will use T to the power minus 1. So that is called the inverse transformation. And for calculating the inverse transformation for anyone, whether it is a translation or the rotation or the scaling, in case of the translation and the scaling, just we will change only the sign. Okay, we will replace txy minus tx, ty minus ty, tz minus tz, and the in case of the scaling, we will replace sx by minus sx, sy by minus sy, and so on. But in case of the rotation, just we will replace theta by minus theta. Okay, we will do nothing else. If it is written already in the formula cos theta, and then in the second column minus sine theta, so we will not change the sign of the uh, which is written before the sign. We will not change that symbol, but we will replace theta by minus theta only. In case of the inverse transformation, just remember of this. Okay. So I hope that everything will be clear to you. Now concatenation, again we will involve the same thing. In case of here also, this is called the concatenation transformation, and this is concatenation transformation. This is nothing but the successive application of the number of transformation can be achieved with a single transformation matrix. Okay, so here again we will apply the several transformation, but we have to maintain the order, or we have to maintain the sequence of the transformation. So that is called the concatenation transformation. So suppose we have two transformation T1 and T2, just we are indicating why the two transformation as T1 and T2 are to be applied successively. The same effect can be achieved by the application of the single transformation T3. Okay, so then final transformation we can indicate by the T3. Now, how we will apply the concatenation, as we have already used in case of the 2D, and in the similar way we will use this. Okay, suppose we have the new points x dash, y dash, z dash 1, and then x, y, z 1, followed by t1. What is the t1? T1 is the first transformation. Okay, anything may be, it may be a translation, rotation, or the scaling. Okay, so we don't know in the problem what the problem is saying about the transformation. Just we are going to generalize this. Okay, so these are the final points. These are the old points or the initial points, and followed by T1 matrix. This may be translation, this may be rotation, this may be scaling. Okay, so just we are going to generalize this, and we are using T1. Okay, so T1 is a transformation matrix. Okay, it may be a translation, rotation, or scaling. The point x double dash, y double dash, z double dash is then generated by applying T2. Now another transformation T2. Okay, because we are going to do the concatenation, so we will apply another transformation T2. So in this case, again we will get the new points. So we are going to indicate by the x double dash, y double dash, z double dash 1. Okay, and here followed by this one, because these are the new points. So this becomes the initial point for the new transformation. We will put here x dash, y dash, z dash 1, and followed by T2, another transformation. We don't know the nature of this transformation. It may be again a translation, either rotation or scaling. We don't know. Okay, we are going the generalization of this. So we can solve now this x double dash, y double dash, z double dash 1 equal to, we are going to replace x dash, y dash, z dash 1, this value from this one. Okay, x, y, z1, t1. So we will put here x, y, z1, t1, followed by this t2. So we will put here t2. Okay, so again just we are writing similar thing x, y, z1, and we will solve this matrix multiplication t1, t2. So just we are going to write here t1, t2. It means solve the multiplication of these two transformation T1, T2, solve this, and then this will be followed by x, y, z1. Okay, so first you can solve this matrix and then put here this value. The order of application of the transformation must be preserved. Okay, so first it must be clear that you have to take care of the, to follow the order. Okay, the order must be preserved when the transformation matrix are applied together. Okay, so take care of the order. So this is called the concatenation of the transformation, because here you are applying T1 and T2. Okay, even though you are not aware by the nature of the transformation, but you are applying here. So this is called the concatenation process. Okay. Now just we are considering, this is very important question, and we are going to consider it is a form of the cuboid. Okay, so this is an object in the form of the cuboid. Now the several vertex are given here. A, coordinates of A is minus 10, 10, 10. Okay, x, value of x minus 10, y 10, z 10. Okay, because this is in the 3D plane. This is a cuboid, and just we are indicating in the form of the 3D. This is called we are applying the 3D transformation. Okay. Now we can calculate. There are here 8 vertex. Okay. O, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and their coordinates are provided here given. Okay. Now we have to calculate the new coordinates for this, and we know that translate value of the Tx tan T by 10, Tz minus 20, scale 2 units, rotate plus x-axis. Okay, we are going to rotate this cuboid along about the x-axis. And what is the value of the theta? 90 degree. Okay, now how we will solve this? Take care of this. Okay, here again there is a need arise to apply the sequence of transformation, because you will apply first translation, then scaling, then rotation. So try to solve this. Okay, even though there is a solution is available here. So first you have to write x dash y dash z dash 1, but you will write the formula. Okay, for the translation x dash y dash z dash 1 x y z 1 and followed by translation matrix. Here I am writing the values directly. Okay, we are writing the values directly. Tx given, ty given, tz given. Okay, we are using 4 by 4 matrix because this is the 3D case. So we will solve first this. Okay, so it will come x plus 10. This is the very shortcut method. Okay, if you will do in the long cut form, then it will take more time, at least 30 to 40 minutes to solve this question. Otherwise, if you will apply some sort of technique, then you can easily solve. So first you write the matrix value of formula, then tx, put the value of tx, ty, tz. It is already provided in the problem. Then try to solve in the form of x, y, z. Multiply these two. Okay, then you will get x plus 10, y plus 10, z minus 20 and 1. Okay, so this is the new one. So now we have very short time. Okay, because zoom time is very short, only 40 minutes. Now you can calculate the apply scaling. This x double dash y double dash, solve again this problem in this form. Okay, so we will get this after multiplication of these two, and after that you can apply here the, you can say, rotation. Okay, so after rotation you will get this equation. Now you can replace, you can here compare x double triple dash y triple dash z triple dash. X triple dash is equal to 2x plus 20, y triple dash 2z minus 40, and z triple dash minus 2y minus 20. Now you can easily replace the value. Okay, so this is the identity you will get at the end, and now you can make a table. So we are continuing again. How we will fix the errors? So there is a one property, detecting an error as soon as a prefix of the input cannot be completed to form a string of the language. So there are few rules of the error handler, because the function of the compiler is also to handle the error. So first it reports the presence of error to the programmer. So whenever we will write our program, then it compiles. During compilation of program, it converts high level language into the low level language, and after that the main function is to report the presence of errors. Okay, it reports the presence of errors to the programmer in a very clear and accurate way, and also recovering from errors quickly enough, add minimal overhead to the processing of the correct program. Okay, so it never do the delay to recover the error and processing of various correct programs, and at the end it process all those programs after the correction of the program, that is after recovering from the error. Okay, after debugging of the program, it process the correct program. So there is no universally acceptable method There is no any, we can say, the final or acceptable method. So the simplest method is for the parsers to quit with the appropriate error message at the first instance of an error. So first thing is this: subsequent errors will not be detected. So sometimes it is not necessary that we will get the errors every time. Okay, sometimes we will run the program, compile the program without any error, and sometimes we have the errors, subsequent errors. So it is not necessary that the compiler is able to detect all such type of errors. So if the parser can restore itself to a state where the processing can continue, future errors can be detected. So we have to take care of that. Okay. So local correction by the parser on remaining input by some string which allows parser to continue. So sometimes the errors detected by the parser inside the compiler, replacing comma by semicolon, inserting extra semicolon, etc. So such type of errors come under the category of the syntax errors: semicolon, missing semicolon, or inserting extra semicolon, etc. So these are the typing mistakes, and we have to take care of such type of errors during writing the program to save our time. Okay, so there are some drawbacks. Improper replacement might lead to infinite loop. Sometimes we replace something, then again we can do the some sort of mistakes, and it may create a big problem. So more importantly, if the error has occurred before the point of detection, so first we will detect the point where the error is occurring. Okay, so how we will do the recovery of the phrase? Sometimes we will write some keywords wrong. Okay, so what is the advantage? It can correct any input string. So phrase recovery, if we are doing this using this, then it can correct any input string. A method of anticipating common errors that might be encountered, augmenting the grammar for the language at hand with productions that generate erroneous constructs. Okay, such a parser will detect anticipated errors when an error production is used. So these are the errors at the higher end, at the higher level. That here, how the parser will detect those errors. Okay, it is not up to the programmer. You can say that, because at the end we will get some sort of errors as it will be detected by the compiler. Okay, so these are some sort of internal errors that will be handled by the parsers. Okay, so error diagnostic will be readily available for such anticipated errors. So these are the big errors, and that is very difficult to diagnose. So global correction, what are those global correction? Ideally, minimum changes should be made to the input string. Okay, first we have to take care whenever we are going to write the our program. Okay, because the program ultimately will be broken into several strings. So we must take care of that. Given an input string X, algorithm finds a parse tree for a related string Y such that number of insertions, deletion and token changes required for converting X to Y is minimum. Okay, so this is the algorithm. First we will write our program. Okay, it breaks into number of strings, and after that there is a need arise to insertion, deletion, and we can break into several tokens, our programs. So what is the drawback for the global correction? Too costly to implement in terms of both time and space, and only theoretical. So this is only theoretical, but we cannot implement such type of error handling criteria. Okay, global correction. Sometimes it is only in the theoretical form. Okay, because the implementation is too costly and we need time as well as space. So there is a requirement of the memory space as well as these are the big time requirement for handling such type of corrections. So these are called the global corrections. So we cannot implement such type of error handling, or we can say the global correction criteria, because it is too costly. So we must take care at the starting. So it is, however, used as a yardstick for evaluating error recovery techniques. So sometimes we use these techniques for error handling as a yardstick. Okay, at very at the very end, we can say at the final stage. So this one is the last, and if you have any question, so you can ask any question. Hello.